Hi, my friends. Welcome into today's episode of Forte Catholic. We've got a great one for you today. It is our happiest episode in quite some time. Both Allison and I have both lost our voices, but we'll explain why. We both had some pretty incredible weekends. I know you guys love it when I come on here and complain, and it's all fun and games to laugh at my life falling apart. But today's great. It's just a happy conversation. We hope that you enjoy some updates from both of our lives and the implications that has on our spiritual life. We hope that you enjoy it. If you do, please subscribe wherever you are listening or on youtube.com/Forte Catholic. Hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. Enjoy today's show. What's up?
That was terrible.
And welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Allison. That is Allison Sullivan. Hello, Allison.
I wouldn't do any better. We're all a little...
Try it.
What's up? Oh, that was pretty good.
That was good. You didn't finish it.
Well, I surprised myself.
What's up?
I know. I've spent the last 2 months without a voice because of enthusiastic sports.
It's been one of the best 2-month spans of my life.
Yeah. Spectatorship. Yeah. We are rowdy spectators and coaches.
We are. So if you listen to last week's episode, we were a little down.
Yeah.
Chris had broken his arm. My son, my oldest,
a lot.
had broken his arm. We needed surgery. We had insurance questions. It was all very up in the
stressful.
air and super stressful. And all that on top of probably like the biggest week that I had as a coach.
Yeah.
Because we were going into the state meet. Well, I'm in a very good mood today. I don't have a voice. I spent almost all weekend yelling at them, as in my team, yelling for them.
Not at your kid with a broken arm.
Yeah, exactly. You idiot. Crying for an hour and a half, celebrating our state championship. We won. It's so very exciting.
Amazing.
And then we're just burying all the leads here just because I feel like I need to let people know. Because it was such a depressing episode last week. It's like, Chris is fine and he doesn't need surgery. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
I've had an unbelievable
It's
week
unbelievable.
after complaining for a month on this show.
Yeah. Tell me you went and bought a lottery ticket or something.
I did not, but we all know that I use food both to cope and celebrate.
Uh-huh.
So I've been eating a lot over the last few weeks for different reasons.
Yeah. Right.
It's been great.
So I feel there's so many, facets to whichever one we want to start with first, which as far as the track goes, this is the first ever state championship in St. Joseph's history. Okay, so that's a big deal. Except we've been around for 3 centuries or something.
Right, exactly. I don't know exactly how many it was, but I know that I was here when we celebrated our 125th anniversary as a school, and it was long ago that I don't remember how many years ago it was.
Yeah. I mean, 1800s for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, unbelievable accomplishment. I hope that you're eating all the things.
DoorDash is so excited that I was depressed last week and celebrating this week.
They're like,
They've
it's
made
that
so
coach
much money.
again.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've met every DoorDash operator in town,
including Jesus.
yeah, Jesus brought a Chick-fil-A. What was that one I sent you the other day?
Ronald.
Ronald brought somebody to McDonald's. That was funny, but not as cool as Jesus.
Not as good as ours.
Our food during
They wish they had Jesus.
So yeah, I mean, just unbelievable weekend. So we'll start with the track meet because my son's fine. And,
it's worth a segment or two. But although, so you just made me sit down and watch the 4x4 in particular.
Yeah.
I knew.
Okay.
I was just gonna say I'm tearful. I already know what's happened, and I sat down to watch, and I'm crying. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
So. Had to start Friday. So the state track, every other track meets just one day. State track, it's all of the A's are there. So we're a 2A school.
Yeah.
We're in TAPS, public schools like UIL. I don't know what it is for other states or whatever, but it's the public school divisions and then the private school divisions. And we're a 2A school, which means that we're the second smallest group. 1A, 2A. But all of the schools are there, and it's boys and girls divisions. And there's 6 A's for each one. So there's 6, every event there's 12 of. There's 12 long jumps. There's 12 triple jumps. There's
Got
12, which means there's also 12 miles and 12 2-mile. It takes forever. Like it's a huge meet, which means you have to split it into 2 days. So the first day is all of the field events plus the 3,200, the 2-mile.
Yeah.
Because typically people that run the 2-mile also run the mile, maybe even the 800. So they want to give them a little bit of break so that they can run their best on 2 different days. So on Friday, we only took a few people because there was just a few people that made it in the field events, but also and then 2 people that made it in the 2-mile. So the big, like, one of the coolest moments that I've ever had as a coach happened on Saturday. Ironically enough, this 2 of our best athletes on the boys and girls side are dating each other.
Oh.
And even with everything going on, they ended up competing at the same time. I mean, with all the possibilities of there's 7 events going on with 6 different, like, do all that math. Like, it's crazy that they were happening at the same time. So we're watching. There's like live results that you can see on your phone. So we're like celebrating both of them at the same time because the guy is over there winning. He got silver in the high jump, and I'm over with my long jumper, and like, I specifically coach, like, I'm the head coach for the program, but I specifically coach the distance jumpers, long and triple jump, and then the sprinters and the relays.
Okay.
So I'm like super invested in this young lady. She is the most decorated athlete we've ever had in our school. Like, by the end of this weekend, with previous years, by the end of this weekend, she had 9 medals in track at the state meet, including 3 different state championships in 3 different events. Like, it's just unbelievable. And one that she had not won yet. She got second last year when she wasn't supposed to get second. She was supposed to get like 5th or 6th, and she PR'd the personal record by over a foot last year and snuck into second place. I mean, just huge. Like, just she's that kind of girl. Just
a great competitor, obviously. You know, just
some people,
pressure's good. Yeah.
And like, I mean, even some people, as in even her, like her sophomore year, because her freshman year was the COVID year, so we didn't have a state meet. But her freshman season, which was her sophomore year, her first season, she made it to state as a sophomore, but kind of shrunk under the lights because it's just, I've been doing this for 8 years, and it tends to happen, but then it kind of drives them, and then they end up getting a medal the next year, going from like 8th to 2nd or 8th to 1st or whatever.
Right.
But I think because of that, her sophomore year, both her junior year and her senior year, she stepped up like crazy. I mean, ended up with 9 freaking medals, including 3 state championships and the overall team state championship. Just unbelievable. And she won athlete of the meet.
Oh,
like, she scored more points than anybody else on the track. She scored 36% of the points for our team.
Your school,
and it all started at this long jump where she was favored to win, but she had been beaten by some of these girls early in the year. Like, kind of like she got upset at the district meet. Yeah. And that was tough because she had been the reigning district champion.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. What is the difference in jumps at this level? Like, when someone beats you, is it by...
Oh, it's inches at the state meet. So, I mean, it's like coming into it, it's like 17-3, 17-4, 17, 16-9, 16-9 and a half. Like, that's like the top 5. Maybe the lowest one's like 15 or something. But I mean, it's inches that we're talking at this point. And she's been dealing with an injury all season. She got hurt after like the 2nd week. So she's been able to long jump, but not able to land correctly because it was like an injury in her back. And like landing hurts, especially if you're already hurt.
Sure. The impact,
So she had been trying, but it was, we could both tell that it was affecting her. She kept telling me it wasn't. And we just, we both knew it was, right? Yeah. But it was just cool. I've been working with her for 4 years in long jump. She's been not only working for the state title, but working for the school record, which was like our best jumper before, won state twice in the long jump, set the record. And it was one of those records that was like untouchable.
Yeah, right.
It was untouchable 2 years ago. Like, we never thought she was going to get there.
Yeah.
And then last year she pops off with this PR of a foot, and we're like, I mean, it's in range.
Yeah.
If you increase by a foot in one meet, maybe you can increase by a foot, just about how far she was away from breaking the state record or the school record. And
when was that school record set?
2017, 18, 2018. Those are the 2 years that girl won, 17 and 18. So she goes and she jumps. On her first jump, it was a little shorter. But then her second jump, she breaks the school record. And essentially, she jumped further than any girl had before, which didn't mean that she had won state, but it kind of did.
Yeah.
Like, there was a very high likelihood that nobody's going to jump further than that. So we're already celebrating. She's already broken the school record, which was the PR for her by like 3.5 inches, but that pushed her over the school record. And then we go all the way through, and sure enough, we get to her last jump, and she is the last jumper because they let the best jumper goes last.
Okay.
And typically at this point, we know that she's going to be in 4 more events.
Right.
And so as her coach, I'm like, I'm passing you. You're done.
Yes.
We're fine. But she's a senior.
Let's not get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You've got other things that we need to accomplish this weekend. But what's crazy is her previous 5 jumps, there was something that she knew and I knew that she had done wrong.
Okay.
It's like there's like
something to fix.
5, 6 things specifically with her that we were constantly working on for the last 4 years.
Right.
And she did one wrong this jump.
Yeah.
One wrong. Everything was perfect except that one little thing. And I was like, I think you have an 18-foot jump in you. Like, because she had jumped 17, 5.5. And I was like, I think you have an 18-foot jump in you. I was like, and so she comes up back after her 5th. We know that she's essentially won by this point. And I look at her and we're both like, we both know that you're jump like this, right? Then sure enough, she goes, and it was like a send-off because she didn't need to jump. She had already won.
Yeah.
And boom.
Oh my gosh.
18 feet, 2 inches.
Stop
Just
it.
unbelievable.
Stop it.
So the moment, like,
it's so cool.
What's cool about it is like because of how they were doing, there was a new system of how they were measuring. They're measuring with lasers instead of like tape measures like they've done for years.
Oh wow.
So the cool thing was that it took a while. So she jumped, kind of wiped herself off from all the sand and stuff, and was able to walk over to me. And her brother was there cheering her on the whole time. Young guy, made the state meet, was cheering on his sister. And so she's standing with me. I got goosebumps. Uh-huh. She's standing with me when they announce. They say 18. We're cheering so loud we don't even hear the 2 inches. We're just like just going absolutely berserk. It was so much fun.
So cool. I love it so much.
Fun. So there's a picture. By the way, I've posted. If you don't follow me on social media, this is essentially all I've been posting about this and Chris for the last few days. At Taylor's Roll on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I posted all these pictures. It's one of my favorite pictures we've ever had.
It's such a great picture. Yeah.
Because it was funny. We joke all the time. Like her freshman year, I had already coached 2 of her brothers. I've known her for years.
Yeah.
Like, and she like said 4 words to me her entire freshman year, and like pretty much I felt like she hated me, you know.
Yeah.
And then every year we got closer and closer and closer to the point where last year when she walked off the state champion, I didn't realize how much I cared about her until the state meet last year. She won the 200, and I just lost it.
Yeah.
Just lost it. Yeah. Because all the hard work she had put in. And so this year was no secret. I mean, I cried every time she won. She did too, you know. Yeah. It's just a really, really special moment. And that was just Friday. Jeez. Unbelievable. So then we go to Saturday. We've got our boys and our girls there. Saturday, we have had meets in the past. If you listen to the last few weeks, like our district meet, the worst possible thing that could have happened.
Things can
in
go
the
wrong.
First
it is no guarantee.
Event. Yeah. First event, and it kind of ruined our day. Like, just mentally, our psyche, whatever. Saturday was unbelievable. Our girls 4x1, which was the favorite to win, won gold. That's the first event. Our second event was the boys 4x1. They were supposed to get 5th. Our star athlete, was our 4th leg. He got it in 6th place in the 4x1. He only has 100 meters. In the 4x1, he got it in 6th, passed 3 people, which is unbelievable in the 4x1 to get him and all of his teammates a medal. So we got 3rd place there. Next event, girls 800. Our other senior Claire. We have 2 Claires. Those were our seniors, the Claire and Claire. And they're best friends. They're the sweetest people too. We've gotten so close now that they're showing me their text messages to each other of like celebrating each other's victories.
Yeah, rooting for each other.
Cute, sweet to each other. You know,
so great.
She runs the 800. She's been one of our best runners for years, and she earned herself her first individual state medal. Yeah. 3rd there. The next event was the boys 800. We got silver there. The next event was the girls 110 hurdle or 100 meter hurdles. Mm-hmm. She got a medal there. Mm-hmm. Like we've now gone 5-6 events in a row where we haven't not got a medal. Yeah. You know, and then our next event, our girls 4x2 was. So going into the meet, we knew that we were projected to win by about 17 points, just total points for the team. Our girls 4x2 ran exactly how they should. They didn't do anything wrong. They ran the exact time that they've been running all year. Yep. Everybody else stepped up. Yeah. We were supposed to get 2nd. We got 6th.
Ooh. Oof,
So
okay.
now that 17-point buffer, we lost
Yeah.
10 points.
Uh-huh.
That is the midway. The 4x2 is literally the midway of the running.
Yeah.
So now we have a 7-point buffer. And then it starts little minute things happen. Not huge thing. That was the biggest like kind of thing that happened. But somebody's supposed to get first, they get second. Now it's 2 points. Now we're down to a 5-point cushion.
Yeah.
Somebody's supposed to get third, they get fourth. That's 1 point. Now we're down to a 3-point cushion.
Oh my gosh.
So we're getting to the end of the meet, and we realize that us and the other team that could get first don't have anybody in the mile. So nothing's going to change there.
Okay.
So it's all going to come down to the 4x4.
This 4x4.
So we pull those girls aside. We actually pull them onto the bus, turn the air conditioning on, let them, because it was hot. I mean, it's May in Texas,
Yeah.
So we pull them over to the into the bus, let them cool off, and we tell them essentially what's at stake. Here's what's happened. We know that other team is going to win this 4x4. So they're going to score 20 points. Mm-hmm. But we're ahead by enough that we need to get third. We have to get third place in order to win the overall state championship. Because if we get third, we'll get 12 points, and that means we will win by 1 point. One singular point. Which comes down to literally everything that has happened. Every girl on the team mattered. We had one girl that scored 1 point. It was almost the deciding factor. Right. So comes down to the last race. Earlier in the day, this girl who has been a staple on all of our relays for the last 2 years. She was a freshman. Last year was on all 3 of our relays. Was sophomore this year. Was spent time on all 3 of our relays this year. She got hurt a couple weeks ago. She actually got hurt at district during the 4x2. Pushed through it. Didn't tell me. Ended up running the 400 still. Hurt. And that's when I noticed because it was a little slower than she typically does, right? So she hasn't run in 2.5 weeks. She runs 4x2.
Re-injures herself.
I have to pull her, right? Because it's tough, right? So the last few steps she hurt herself, but there's a girl that's been filling in for her. That's a freshman. So now we have a state title on the line. We have to get
with
third
a sub.
place. With a sub.
A freshman sub.
Freshman. And we've already have a freshman at the end of our 4x4.
Yeah.
So it goes freshman, our senior stalwart. I told her that she had, what's a stalwart? She didn't know if I was making fun of her or what. I was like, you're steady. You're good. You're
calling me a
reliable.
name.
She's like, what did you call me? Yeah. It's like, you're not a wart. Leave me alone. A stale wart. You're a gross wart.
Hilarious.
But so she was second. And then we had a junior who's the sister of the freshman that started it. So I mean, we have twins on the team that have already gone. We have sisters now running. We have freshmen. It's just crazy. So we get to this 4x4, and they know. We all know. All the boys know. The girls know. All the coaches know. All the parents in the stands. We traveled so well. It was so cool to see all the families there.
Yeah.
Our priest was there. Our principal was there. It's just really cool because everybody knew that.
Yeah.
What was on the line?
Yeah.
The first state championship in over 125 years. So. Freshman goes out, runs a great time, 4th place. After the first person, second person gets out. Our senior, she passes this girl, and then she gets passed right at the end.
Yeah,
still in 4th place.
Yeah,
same thing happens with our junior, the older sister, takes out, gets into 3rd place right at the last second, gets 4th. So our 4th leg, this freshman phenom gets the baton. And we just watched the video. You can see 3rd place is only a couple feet away from her. So we're like, if we just get it to her, she got second. She has the school record in the 400 that she set this year.
Yeah.
She had already earlier in the day gotten silver as a freshman in the open 400. If we get it to her and it's close, we should be fine.
Yeah.
100 meters in.
Yeah.
She's still behind. 200 meters in.
Yeah.
She's still behind. 300 meters in. She's still behind. 60 to 65 meters left. I got goosebumps again. 60 to 65 meters left. She passes 3rd. Oh. And we are going crazy.
I can't even.
So on the home field stand, we're in this big it's this big public high school that has better facilities than every college.
Yeah.
Right. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So all the parents are there on that side. After the first 100, after the first curve, we've got our girls team and most of our coaches. At the end of that first straightaway, we've got our boys. But then right there, it's me and our other senior, the senior that didn't run it, the girl that won athlete of the meet. She had already locked it up.
Yeah,
scored 36% of our points, and it's killing her that she's standing with me and not on the track because she can't do anything about it. She had already
Right.
done all 5 of her events that she's allowed to do.
Yeah.
So she's standing with me, and so I couldn't stand with anybody else. I was like, I can't go stand with all of our girls. I can't go stand with all of our boys. So I call her over right before this race. And I'm like, be with me. And we go stand by ourselves, just the 2 of us. Like, because we've had this whole career. She has put together the greatest career.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps, man. She's put together the greatest career in athletics in our program.
Yeah.
And the state championship's on the line. And she played the biggest role she could possibly play.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man. When Leah passed her, our anchor passed her with 60 meters left, we knew we had it. I mean, she collapsed into my arms. We're crying and hugging.
Gosh.
We're jumping up and down. We're like crying and yelling and laughing and jumping up and down. And she can't even watch, you know.
Yeah.
And she didn't even realize.
Tell me what happened.
Leah gets second place with 2 meters left. We didn't even need second, but she just did it for good measure.
Yeah.
I mean, watching this freshman celebrate. I mean, she just won us a state championship.
Oh my gosh.
We're crying. We spent the next hour and a half bawling.
Oh.
Like me and these high school girls who, like, when I first started coaching, I felt like an older brother. I'm getting to the point now, like they're like my daughters.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's a dad.
It's so like I'm when I first started, it's like these boys and they're 4 or 5 years younger than me.
Right.
And I was just having fun. And now I'm like crying for an hour and a half.
No, I remember that transition too. Yeah. Yeah.
It was incredible.
It is completely incredible. So, in summation, what do you attribute all of the success to? If you could just, I know you asked the questions around here, but I'm curious if you could just like bring it down to brass tacks. What would you say?
My coaching. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I
thought that was going to get a laugh.
No, because I have a lot to say about that, but go ahead.
No, it's an incredible combination of things. I mean, for people that have been listening the last few weeks, know how much of an up and down it's been this last few weeks with this team.
Because with sports, nothing's ever in the bag.
Right.
You cannot, there is no way to say this is what is going to happen because we are so completely human, like swayed by our emotions, our bodies. Anything can break. Anything can break down. We cannot communicate with each other. We just have bad days. There's nothing ever in the bag. No guarantees.
There's a coach for another team that's been very good for a very long time. So our track program didn't get good until about 7 or 8 years ago. I'll let you guess when I started. But there's this other coach that's been good for a very long time. Just like their team's been up there. They get first or second pretty much every year.
Yeah.
And they had a little bit of a down year, meaning they got third. Like they're a very good program.
Yeah.
And I overheard him at one point talking to his girls because they had underachieved in one of their events. And I heard him at one point. He's like, there's only so much I can do. Like I set you guys up. Y'all just have to go out and deliver. And it wasn't. It was to set them up for later in the day. He's not. It wasn't like a mean thing.
No.
It's like we've done everything that we can. You've done it. I've done it. Y'all have to go out and perform.
Yeah.
And he wasn't just yelling at them for the last one. He was getting them ready because they had other events throughout the day. And I thought about that a lot because I put so much time and energy and effort into this. But there are times, and through the good times and the bad, where it's just like, it's up to y'all. There's literally nothing I can do at this point, right? So me and our senior felt just incredibly helpless.
Yeah.
This forward is like,
and you are.
We've done all we can. Like I can't go out and run this for you, you know. I can't push you, make you feel faster, whatever, right? So I think a lot of it is, I mean, it's all the work and the planning that we've done, but it's also the hard work that they've done. I told our 2 seniors, the Claires, like they were so special. Like there's zero chance we would have done this without them.
Yeah.
Both their points on the track and field, but also just like those 2 in particular, the work ethic and how hard they have worked at practice. It's like I said it yesterday. We had our athletic banquet last night to celebrate everything, but we got to celebrate these girls. It was just so cool to celebrate. I mean, to have the community celebrate our team was just so cool. But I told them after, it's like it wasn't just because we talked all about the stuff that they did on the track on Saturday while we're crying, celebrating and everything. But what I told them last night was like, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for you guys working hard on a random Tuesday.
Right.
3 months ago, a year and 3 months ago,
Right.
2 years and 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Pushing through the COVID season. Like none of this would have happened if it wasn't for the way those 2 ladies handled it. Because like everyone else goes as they go, especially
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
our
You have some
MVP
team
goes.
leaders and
Like, and it was really interesting is like, because I am super vocal. That's not a secret, right? So we had talked about pretty much every year I've assigned captains. This is one of the first years that we didn't because our leaders were more quiet leaders. So at one point we were going back and forth, like, who do we make team captains? And somebody just asked me, it's like, who do you think that they're going to say is our captain if you ask any of them? I was like, I don't know. And they're like, it's you. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, yeah. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
So it was just, but it was really cool. Like, I got to do, it was a cool thing of like us, all of us using our gifts and what we could do. It's like, I was like our vocal leader this year.
Yeah.
But everybody went how those girls went.
Yeah.
Like, if they had a good day of practice, we had a good practice. If they did not, we didn't. And those not good days of practice were few and far between with those two. And like we're going to be good for a while. And those two girls' impact is going to be felt over the next few years, because now we have an incredible junior, sophomore, and freshman class that have seen what it takes to win. And it was what those two girls
Exactly.
did. Like,
exactly.
And so like, we're going to be good for the next while.
Yes.
And
yes, you
it's
are.
because of those two. Like,
Yes.
it's incredible. So yeah.
You know, I think that with any elite athleticism, there's, you know, all these factors that go into it. And of course there's natural talent, just a natural ability to perform and do well. And then there's like resiliency, right? I mean, just staying healthy, like your body, allowing the demands of the sport. And then there's all these, you know, unnameable things like grit and a love of the sport. I mean, you could get out there every day and hate track, and that would work its way into your practice somehow. Right. That would work its way into your performance. So there's, you know, there's love of the sport, there's grit, there's ambition, you know, how competitive are you? Are you fierce out there, you know? And so all of those things have to be in place. But when I was thinking about you and the spreadsheets I've seen, I'm pointing to your computer, like the spreadsheets I've seen and how late I know that you stay up looking at them, right, and knowing who can run 80 meters this fast and 120 meters this fast, and where the handoff should be. And I mean, I don't even know. These are things that but how to score the most points, right? So there's those technicalities, but at the very bottom, and yes, I just asked you a question that I had an answer for, that I know the answer to. But at the very bottom of all of that is trust. Like, these girls have your trust. So now if you wanted to break it up even further to figure out what goes into trust, they know you know what you're talking about. You've been there. You've done that. You were a track star. You know what you're talking about. So there's accountability. You know, there's know-how. And then the trust of, not only do I know what I'm talking about, but I also know you. Like, I have spent time watching you, learning how to communicate effectively with you, not just I come here and I communicate the way that I communicate, take it or leave it, but this is what motivates you. This is what makes you feel encouraged. And everything that you did is just so specific. And that would not come without your love of the game and without your love of athletes. And it is all so flipping awesome to watch and root for and like scream my head off about. It is so cool.
It's been fun. I have thought for the last couple, I realized it a few years ago. I was like, I don't think anybody in the world cares as much about two-way taps track and field as I do.
Yeah.
Such a very odd, specific thing to care about. But I was like, you want to know what I did an hour before you got here today?
Rewatched your videos?
I know that's what I've been doing the previous few days. So we are recording this on Tuesday, which, by the way, thank you. We were going to record this last Thursday.
Yeah.
We recorded last week's episode. For those of y'all that had listened last week, and it was a lot less happy. Chris had broken his arm. We were very stressed about the state meet. And I was like, well, this is going to be the next episode that we're going to come out.
Yeah.
And you showed up Thursday. I was like, I got nothing. Nothing's changed. I was like, can you just come back when it's all over?
Come back when there's some developments. Yeah.
For better or worse, can we talk about this Tuesday?
Yeah.
But so all this happened Saturday. All we did was celebrate Saturday. We celebrated almost all day Sunday. We celebrated again last night. It was so weird not to go to track practice yesterday.
Yeah.
It was so strange to just stay here at my house and work. It sucked. I hated it. But we celebrated all night, or like last night with the awards ceremony. We've been celebrating today. There was like just stuff just keeps happening because it's this historic first time we've won anything. Like I've got a call with like the Catholic newspaper later.
Yeah,
we were on the news last
love
night.
it.
Like,
Yes,
it's still happening, right?
Yeah.
But,
Awards last night.
Yeah, but finally, what I did Tuesday. So all this happened Saturday. This an hour ago, right before you got here. I planned what we're doing for district next week or next year. I pretty much know what everybody's going to do. So it's a sad day because I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to do this every year. Usually I don't.
Hold
do
on,
it
is
for a
this
while.
incorporating new athletes?
All the new ones, and the saddest part is deleting the seniors.
Oh,
it's so hard. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. I love them.
Oh, it's so cool. Okay, did you cry last night at awards?
I stopped talking for a few seconds because one of them specifically asked me not to cry. So
Yeah.
But both of us, like neither of us cry all that much.
Yeah.
But we both cried for like an hour and a half on Saturday. I'm like, I think we're done.
Yeah.
So when I told him after we were done, it's like I cried writing this. It was like it spent me. I'm a professional speaker. It doesn't take me that long to prepare a 8-minute speech or whatever.
Right.
It took me like 3 hours yesterday because I just kept crying.
Well, it's funny. So I had the principal's kid at my house after school yesterday, and I was, planning to keep him until our principal.
My principal?
Yes, the school's principal, and so I had her kid, and I was just going to keep him until she was finished. And I knew that it started at 6, and she was like, "Okay, yeah, I should be there around 6:45," and I was like, no, I don't think so. And then she was like, oh, I think it might be closer to 7:30. She's like texting me, and I'm like, you take your time. That's a good time right there.
We did have a really good time. Oh, it was so much fun. So, just incredibly special weekend. It's one of those things that like it hits me randomly, like holy crap.
Yeah.
We're state champions. Like all this work that we've put in for years, all the work that we've put in for the last 2.5 months, all
building
the
a program.
Like my stomach has been in shambles since Saturday, just because like the stress of the last 2 months. It's like it's finally gone. I gotta be done with it.
Yeah.
Just an incredible weekend.
Yeah.
So
congrats, coach.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Yeah, it was really special. It was really cool to I started mentioning it earlier, but those two seniors, and both of them are very private. They're quiet, but it is cool that like over the years we've warmed up to each other because I couldn't be more opposite of them.
Right.
They're small, quiet girls, and I'm a large, loud man, but we've gotten so close over the last couple of years, and it was really cool. One of them is going into sports psychology, which I didn't realize until mid-speech that I was like, oh, I hope I'm not the reason you saw a need for sports psychology.
Oh, my gosh.
My coaching made you be like,
that's hilarious.
This industry needs some help.
That's hilarious.
But the other one's going to go study to be a coach.
Is anyone running in school?
One of our boys is. One of our boys who had a great day. He finished. So we had, on the boys' side, I told you about the 4x1. That was great. And then the best distance runner our school's ever had was a senior. And he had his last day on Saturday, ended with a bronze medal in the mile and a silver medal in the 800. Made us so mad. We've been wanting him to break 2 minutes in the 800 for forever, and he finally got to like 2 minutes and 0.6. We're like, ah! So it's so mad that he's going to do it in his first race in college instead with us, But he's going to run.
What's that mile time?
Mile time's 4:35.
Oh my gosh.
4:35. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, he's the first person. Others could have done it and just chose not to, but he's the first person that from our program that's going to run in college.
Cool.
It's just really exciting.
Yeah.
So,
what a year, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had so much fun yesterday, and like we're going to be good for a while. Like we got to celebrate some of our freshmen, some of our sophomores last night. So it's exciting because we've the best that we had done before. We got third place with the boys last year. We got third place at state overall. Third place with the boys last year. Third place with the boys in 2018. That was my second year. And third place with the girls in 2018. But never this.
Yeah.
We never got second.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is awesome.
Right.
So so that was all Saturday. Spent that whole day crying and celebrating. Sunday, we all stayed after mass for like an hour, both celebrating and now transitioning to the next big thing.
Monday.
One of our even Sunday, because the surgery was scheduled for Monday morning. So our priest, one of our priests, Father Will, heard about it and was like, hey, can I do anointing the sick for Chris before surgery? Because they're, anytime you're going under anesthesia, yes, it happens every day and everybody's fine. But you never know.
Of course, yeah.
So he did anointing of the sick, but then he also heard his confession, which was cool. And then we did this anointing of the sick thing after Mass, just me, my wife, my 3 kids, and priest. And so I've seen anointing of the sick is typically for old people, but it was cool to like see it for my 10-year-old. And like Father was asking him questions of like, do you understand what we're doing? You know, it was just really cool. Like he would like pause the rite to like explain the next part of it or whatever. So just super pastoral, loving, caring moment from our priest. And then we went to go have Mexican food to celebrate Cinco de Mayo because it's 2 days late because I was gone on Cinco de Mayo, and have like it was both celebratory and then we also called it the Last Supper. You know? Because it was his last meal before. Right. Because he couldn't eat or whatever.
Yes.
So we went out and did that, and then we just spent the rest of the day at home. So we go Monday morning, and just quick recap. If you didn't listen last week, my son last Sunday. It was 8 days between him breaking his arm and the scheduled surgery. So we go to the ER hours after it was just up and down to hours after we're celebrating my daughter's first communion. And then he breaks his arm. And what a downer, you know? And we, our insurance has been messing with us. We weren't sure if he was covered. Just super, super stressful. So, and then all week I was just super stressed out. Like, I just want him to have the surgery. I was worried about growth plates. I was worried about his future. I was just worried about everything, right? And then we finally, when we were at the ER, we took him there right after he broke it. They were like, it's broken, and it's the type of break that's going to need pins and surgery. So we're like, dang it, So we scheduled the surgery for Sunday. So we were super stressed and kind of frustrated that we just felt strung along all week. Yeah. I just knew that they were going to schedule the surgery on Friday morning when I had to be at the track meet. Like heavens, that would have been terrible, right? Right. We wanted it to be done Monday morning, the Sunday after it happened.
Sure.
And, doctors were stringing us along, insurance stringing us along, just super frustrating and annoying. Well, we go Monday to the surgeon, and like we're there for surgery, and they're like, just before we do it, we're going to take some more X-rays. X-ray. And we're like, okay, cool. It was super traumatizing last week into the X-rays because like he couldn't hold up his arm, and they're like,
and they have to move it. It's terrible.
So I ended up last week. I don't think I said this last week, but I don't think you've seen the movie, and I don't think anybody listening should have. But what was it? The Leonardo DiCaprio movie where it's all about him making all that money.
Oh,
I'm not leaving. I'm not freaking leaving. That's what it.
Wolf
of Wall Street.
Yeah.
So even if you haven't seen it, most likely you've seen that GIF or something, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how I felt in the X-ray thing. Yeah. Because like you're not supposed to just hang out in there, right? The nurses leave or whatever, they push a button, they zap you with radiation. Yeah. And that's essentially how I was in the X-ray room. So he can't. He's in shock and he can't move his arm. So I'm just holding his arm. And they're like, sir, you want to come with me? I'm like, I'm not leaving.
No, I'm right here.
I was just like, I'm going to close my eyes. That'll help. Like when they push a little, I don't know. But I was like, I don't care. Probably going to get cancer anyway. I might as well be here for my kid, Well, we go Monday. I do the X-rays. This is the first time I've seen the X-rays from the previous week. You can see the break.
I know. Yeah.
And then they do the new ones, and they're like, you can see the reason the ER said they're gonna have to do surgery is that it wasn't like a clean break, because typically in a clean break they just put a cast on and the body just kind of heals.
Yeah, they say that like with kids' bones, you put one on one end of the room and one on the other, and they will find each other and heal
Life
themselves.
Finds a way, right? Yeah, but one of his bones was like jutted out to the side,
right?
So it's like it's not gonna fix itself, right? Yeah. So they have to go in and do surgery. Well, we go.
Hold on. Did they set it that night?
No,
they did not.
Okay.
Did they give him like a?
It was like a soft cast.
A quick but did they? No. They didn't like hang on it to set it. Okay.
No.
You would know and remember if they said it. Okay.
No, they just put a soft cast on him because we thought we were gonna have the surgery quickly, and ultimately we didn't. Right. So we go there, and they're like, I'm seeing the previous picture. I don't know science at all. I said something a minute ago that I think made that pretty clear.
Sciencey.
Yeah. But they take new X-rays and he's flipping back and forth through them, and it's like it reset itself.
Yeah.
Like it was back in line. He's like, we don't need surgery. We're just gonna put a cast on for a month. So like we went in to have surgery, and we
that
knew
may or may not be covered by insurance.
which we have now learned over the last week that it is a $10,000 to $15,000 surgery that we did not know if we were going to have coverage for.
Taylor.
And they're just like, yeah, we're just going to put a cast on. He'll be fine. It's not going to affect his future growth. It's not going to affect his growth plates. One of our friends, I'll go ahead and say it. I didn't say her name last time, but it's all over now. But Rachel Bowman, you know Rachel?
Sure.
So her husband is an orthopedic surgeon. I think that's the right thing. But like the person that would do surgery on my son's arm.
Right.
They just live far away. And she was super in my corner all week.
Awesome.
And Instagram DMing me back and forth, kind of keeping up with it. And you know, her husband was like answering a bunch of questions, like,
so nice.
Because like we didn't see a surgeon, we didn't see a doctor for a week.
Right.
And so I'm like, I know with kids working bones and growth plates, I was like, is he gonna be? He's a good athlete. Is he gonna be able to freaking play sports for the rest of his life? Is he gonna be able to straighten his arm all the way? Is he gonna grow and he's gonna have one long arm, one short? Like I've seen this stuff. I have friends that have that kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah.
And so she was, and she was like, you know, if it doesn't work out, we'll do a GoFundMe. I'm like, thank you.
I was already thinking that way too. I'm like, your community's got this. It's going to be okay.
But she was also like, and then, so I sent her Monday morning. I sent her when I finally got the x-ray, because she's like, hey, do you have them? Can you send them so that my husband can look at them?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's at work on a Monday morning. I'm sending pictures. She's sending them to him. He's coming back and saying the same thing that our doctor said. So like,
oh my gosh,
we have two professional opinions
wonderful
for free now, you know, because of their help. He's a deacon now. They're just a great family.
It's so awesome.
But he said the same thing. It's just it moved back into place, which is crazy, because I'm not going to sit here and say it's a miracle, but I'm not going to say it's not either, because they told us like for certain we were going to need surgery, and that 8-day waiting period sucked.
Yeah.
I hated it. I hated it so much. But ultimately, like that 8 days, like he probably would have needed surgery if we did it the next day. But now we waited 8 days, and his body's just like, and you talked about our community, right? All of our family was praying, like all of our extended family, all my friends were praying. I put out, I tweeted something that like 22,000 people saw and were retweeting and sharing and replying with praying hands. Like hundreds, if not thousands of people. I got goosebumps. This is like my fourth goosebumps of the day.
Yeah.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of people praying for my son's arm and his healing and his our calm and all this stuff. And it just works.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like financially saved us, saved his health, put us at peace. Like just, it's just so cool of like this. Yes, it's stressful, but like it's gonna work out. Like even if we would have had the surgery, it's like somebody would have done a GoFundMe, would have done a fundraising campaign, whatever. Right? It would have worked out. It would have been fine. But he's gonna be fine. He's in a cast. He's back at school today, which is why it's quiet in here. It's just kind of an unbelievable.
I know that I say this all the time, but we wouldn't have chills a million times over and be like at the edge of tears if it hadn't really sucked before. Mm-hmm. You know, like we would not be able to celebrate these victories without the defeats. And so it is the low lows that pave the way to the high highs. And I'm just always so reminded that a lot of times it's desperation that best showcases God's work. Like we can't really celebrate a miracle with the exuberance that we would if we hadn't seen the sadness that can come. Like we are not going to be spared from the sufferings of life. I mean, we walk into our spaces and we see Christ on the cross, like they're prominent. And every time I walk in and see that, it's a reminder that Christ suffers with us. It's like we have a tendency to think that because Christ suffered, now we don't have to. Like, that's not a thing. Right. That's just really bad theology. Right. You know, he does not tell us that we are not going to face the really crappy things of this world. He just says they're not going to win, you know? And so it's in these moments of victory and praise and celebration that we can look back on those and go, you didn't win. You know, it's so, so wonderful.
Yeah. And we like, that's exactly why the last few days have been so great, because we like, our track team suffered together over the last 3 weeks. Like, we were all like probably clinically depressed for like 6 days after what happened at district. Our family suffered this week with the stress of Chris's broken arm and the implications for his health and the implications for our finances and the implications for all that, right? We suffered and it was terrible.
Right.
And then just within the course of 48 hours, we won a state championship and my son doesn't need surgery. Like, what? Like that, it's just unbelievable. And it's one of those things that suffering brings us together, right? Like suffering brought our team together and helped us propel forward. It brought our family together. It brought this community together of like recently I have been feeling over the last few months, like where like I feel like where I've had thoughts of like, why do we even do this? Right? Like,
of course.
It's like, I know people listen, like I see numbers, but hasn't been
gosh, every other week. I'm like,
there haven't been like conversations about it. Like I was like, is the show really impacting people? Is our ministry impacting people? Is what I'm doing anywhere? Is any of it having an impact? Right? It's probably during those 6 days of depression after the track.
Yeah,
but it was one of those things that like people came out of the woodwork to show how much they cared about me and my family and everything. And it was one of those weird things that like, obviously we didn't want the stress of the previous few weeks of track season. We didn't want my son's arm to be broken. Like, but because of that suffering, other things were solved. Like me feeling like none of this was doing anything, or even feeling like some loneliness of like, where are all my friends, you know? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, everybody just comes out of the woodwork, and it was just super cool. We had this moment at the track meet. So our school won the 2A girls division. The 1A boys division was won by Brazos Port Christian School, which is the Christian school in Lake Jackson where I grew up. Yeah. The coach there is the guy I looked up to in track stuff. His mom was my coach. I got to see her. I got goosebumps again. 5th time. I got to see her. She's one of my favorite people ever. She's a huge reason why I fell in love with track and field. I got to see her and hug her with my state trophy. Just the goosebumps aren't going away at this point,
sweet.
Right? We got to take a picture together. We were celebrating each other, which like it was just this super cool thing of like like they beat us in football this year. Like we've been against each other, but like there's this brotherhood that goes back. I've known him since 2004. Yeah. And here we are 19 years later celebrating a track championship together. So cool. And it brought like even that community back together. Like there are people that I haven't talked to in forever that saw the picture of me and him, and like people from 2004 were like, "Hey, congratulations." Like, I forgot you existed. You know, like
that is so awesome. God is so near, you know? And I wonder for me, because as I'm listening and just as a personal challenge, what I'm hearing right now is it's easy to feel God near in these times. Can we feel God near in those low times too? Because he is. Like we look at that same cross and we know that he's suffering for us and that he's suffering with us. Can we feel God near during those times too? That's kind of what I'm going to take away from all of this, because right now it's so obvious just how loved you are. That is so specific to your languages, you know, all of your love languages.
Yeah. Which is a perfect segue. Good job. It's almost like you read the notes or something. So I read this thing the other day, and I read it. This was before all the good stuff happened. We were actually planning on talking about this on Thursday. Before I canceled, I was like, I don't have anything to say other than this. Yeah. And then it perfectly fits into what we're talking about today. So last week, I forget where I heard it. It's either a podcast or a homily or something. I don't know. That's essentially all I do now is listen and fix podcasts and go to church. 6 weeks.
And win state titles. But
yeah, whatever. This is about the parting of the Red Sea. And I didn't know these specific details, or if I did, I had forgotten them and never noticed, right? Yeah. But 6 weeks after, at the time, the biggest miracle, and arguably the biggest miracle in all of the Old Testament. Arguably. There's a couple. Hey, you could say creation, right? God breathing out stars. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It was.
That's pretty cool, right? So that might be number one, but like with humans involved, we'll put it that way. Okay. Moses parting the Red Sea, I think, is the coolest miracle of the Old Testament, right? There's one or two more I could think of that people could argue, but it's top three for sure. So Moses goes through, parts of the Red Sea. 650,000 people walked in. We've all heard this story, right? Yeah. The Israelites escaping Egypt. Did you ever picture 650,000 people?
Yeah, no.
That's a lot of people walking on the bottom of the sea. Like
couple hundred.
I watched Prince of Egypt. It was probably 2,000 people.
Right.
You know, they didn't have the budget to CGI 650,000 people. That is so many people. Like that is bigger than most capital cities in
times
Texas.
30 in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Objects on TV are larger than they are, smaller than they appear in real life. But 650,000 people. And that's how many people at least start wandering in the desert. Never pictured that with that many people either.
Yeah.
I always pictured like a yurt with like 80 people. Like, we're hungry.
Yeah.
We're tired of this. No, 650,000 people complaining, right? So 6 weeks after this, arguably biggest miracle happens. 6 weeks after those 650 people walk through the Red Sea, the Israelites are already grumbling. Mm-hmm. And this is the famous part. We've all heard this, right? But those two things, the 6 weeks and the number of people were the two things that maybe rethink, or at least not rethink it, but at least see it on a much grander scale of they just witness
right.
I mean, as cool as winning a state championship is, and as cool as my son's possible miracle of the healing of his arm, as cool as that is, it's not as cool as watching 650,000 people walk through a sea.
There's also bread falling from the sky, okay? And so, they're grumbling.
I call that DoorDash.
There's I like it. That would be a great name for. Okay, anyway,
Catholic
we digress.
Version of
DoorDash. Yes,
manna from heaven.
There's literally bread falling from the sky, and they're like, "Did you bring us out here to starve?" Right. And so now you put Jesus in the wilderness.
I'm gluten free.
Right. So now you put Jesus in the wilderness. And there's this redo, right? There's this holy redo of let's be like Jesus in the wilderness instead of the Israelites, where, he's tempted by Satan.
Do you think, I never thought about this before. The last time God put people in a desert, he gave them bread and they complained. Do you think that Jesus was being punished for the Israelite sins? And God's like, I'm not sending any bread this time.
No fasting. Yeah. Well, I do think that there's a great lesson there because Jesus is like, I'm not going to be tempted by that. He's saying you don't live by bread alone. So he's teaching us and the Israelites that, you have this, and this goes back to everything that we just spent however long talking about, is that, yes, you have this momentary need. And it's not that it isn't important. Ask God for that. Do that. Ask God for that. But there is more to this life than this instantaneous desire and need met. So that thing, asking for that thing, is something that can draw us to the Lord. It's that it can't stop there. So that need being met is designed to bring us into closer relationship with God. So what Jesus is telling us by saying, I'm not going to grumble about not having bread right now. I'm going to say there's more to life than bread alone. And then literally pillars of light are guiding them in the night, right? And so they get
old news.
Yeah, whatever. They get to literally where Moses is meeting with God. God's giving him the law. Here's the law to Moses. The people are waiting back here. They start grumbling and are like, anybody want to build a calf? They're literally getting instructions from their God, and they're like, anybody want to worship a new God? How about a gold one?
I never thought about how they wanted meat and they made veal. Non-edible veal.
Yeah. So, never mind that it's golden and shiny and still, worth nothing and costing them all the things. But yes. So now you have this identity crisis of we don't know who we are. We don't know whose we are. And so again, Jesus in the wilderness is tempted by the devil a second time saying, hey, all of this can be yours, and Jesus is like, that's, no, I don't need all of that. That's not who I am. And so the third one of what's the last, temptation of, don't test God. Do you know how long it takes to get to the promised land from where they were?
40 years.
2 weeks.
Literally. Yeah.
2 weeks.
You know what? It would be like us right now. We're in Bryan, College Station, Texas. It would be from us walking to Brenham.
Right.
Which is a 45-minute drive, and it took them 40 years.
And so they get there, And they're like, God's like, has this plan or whatever. They send some scouts and they're like, I don't know, those guys are big. And so they do it their own way.
Remember whenever God defeated Egypt?
Right. And so the third redo of Jesus, and we're learning from him, not them, is I'm going to do it God's way. Because he's saying, hey, throw yourself off this building and everyone can watch God save you. It says that you're going to be saved. Everybody can watch God save you. People will still know who you are. You'll still get the end result, right? And Jesus is like, that's not what this is about. I have to do it God's way. And so God had a plan for the Israelites into the promised land. They just didn't trust it. And Jesus, even though he didn't like that way, this cup can pass from me if you want. Oh, okay, you don't want? Okay, here we go.
Right.
And so I love that in kind of considering all of this, considering all of the grumbling and all of the ways that we are asking God for the things that we want. We are invited to do that. We are invited to wrestle with God, but we cannot determine his goodness based on how he behaves to our, let's face it, demands,
And to our circumstances. Which I think my biggest reflection on the last week, it's just interesting that it popped into my head because it was something from a long time ago. I think it was a weird conglomeration of things. How bad last week was, how good today is. And because we've been, I mentioned it last week, we've been re-releasing old episodes of the podcast onto YouTube. It's this whole project we're doing because YouTube's starting to do podcasts or whatever. And all we had on YouTube before was just our video episodes that started episode 130 or something. I don't know. So all those previous ones were just audio only, but we're finally uploading them up there. So I'm having to do this grueling thing of, I'm not listening to the whole thing, but I have to listen to snippets.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
To bring it into the new age. And I'm like, this was bad.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
But it was also really
glad
funny
we've grown.
There was something, yeah, exactly. It was bad because I didn't have co-hosts. Thanks. But one of the things that I noticed was one of the early things, one of the early episodes, we were just copy and pasting essentially the old show notes into the new ones, kind of sprucing them up a little bit because I've learned how to write copy in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I saw that I talked about on one of the first episodes ever was that I had gone on this retreat. This was literally this past week that I saw this, and that was that one was re-released or whatever. Remastered, Taylor's version.
Yeah, nice.
So I saw that I had gone on a retreat, and that this priest who was leading the retreat, it was the beginning of our ministry year, where we're all excited and rejuvenated. We're all good. But we all know that through the ministry year, things are going to be tough, right? So he said, what are the 5 things in your back pocket? He connected it to David gathering the 5 stones to fight Goliath, even though he only ever used 1. He's like, you might miss. You're not David, right. So he's like, what are your 5 stones? What are the 5 things that you can keep in your back pocket? What are the moments that you really noticed God working in your life? And it's go back to your initial conversion. Remember that. What happened? How did it feel? Put that in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Go back to a wedding or something with your marriage, or some great moment with your kids, or something never can take away. We're state champs forever. Nobody can ever take it from us. We can win next year. We cannot win next year. We won a state championship. Or this thing with Chris's arm. We'll always remember that he needed surgery and then he didn't. It was a reminder after last week because I think I did get bogged down by the negative stuff because there was a lot of negative stuff, right?
Right.
But it's a reminder for in those moments too, what are the 5 moments where you really felt connected to God, so that when you're in the desert and you're grumbling and I saw one of our friends this week say, if you're complaining on the internet, you're hurting Catholicism. I was like, oh, there's somebody else thinking I'm hurting Catholicism. Great.
Wow.
Because that's what I've been doing for the last 3 weeks or whatever. But what are those? What are those 5 moments in your life? I'm sure there's more, but what are those 5 that you can constantly recall in moments like last week of God's still good. He's done this before. He'll do it again.
Yeah, I love that. I was thinking about how, when you think about Jesus between the 2 thieves, this just popped into my head, but the first thief was, it says he's reviling God, You say, why can't you save yourself? Save us, save yourself. What's happening?
I always wish that Jesus would have, like, did you watch Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Like apparated. But back in the day, when I was a kid, it was Nightcrawler from X-Men because he got. I always wish Jesus did that just for a second to prove that he could.
Yeah.
Like he's on the cross and he's just like, if you're really a savior, come down, and then just like poof and literally like be right in your face and then poof back on. You're like, ah!
And like,
and
JK.
He's like, I could do it if I wanted to. I just don't want to. That's what I would have done, but I'm not Jesus. So.
Clearly. So, but if you think about him like reviling, just criticizing and lashing out and all of these things, and then you think of the other guy next to him who is just promise me that, can we see each other, in heaven? And yes. And so
I love how practical he is. He's like, if I'm nice for like my last hour of life, I might get heaven. I like to think he was still bad at heart, but was like, saw an opportunity.
Yeah. Well,
that's how I think.
But I think about those two opposite responses, and you're like, what does that have to do with me? When really it's not which thief, are you a thief or not? It's which one, because you can like look at this thief who is insulting him and you're like, that would never be me. I would never do that.
But I think I do.
I know.
Jesus, do your magic.
Exactly.
I need your magic right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, fine, I'm more polite about it.
Right.
But the truth is, there are so many times that I rob God of power and employ myself instead because I think I know what's best, because I think I know what I need. And what the first thief was not seeing is that Jesus was, all he wanted was off the cross, right? Like, just save me. He would have taken anyone as the savior. He didn't care who it was. He might have even believed that he was the Messiah, but he would have accepted anyone if it just got him out of that situation, right? He didn't love Jesus. And of all of the things that I love about Jesus, whether it's his justice, his heart, his mercy, his forgiveness, his rebelliousness, whatever, I think it's that he suffers with us that connects me to him the most, And so what that thief was failing to see is that what I said before, that he suffers with us and he suffers for us. And so in that intimacy, because we're bonded to who we're struggling alongside, right? In that bonding, I just think that the victories are so much sweeter, and I don't have to employ myself. I don't have to employ myself and my perfect plans and how I think things should go and start making demands of a God, because the same God that, forgave all our sins is the same God that can send the mountains crumbling into the sea. And just because he's hanging on a cross, like this thief from his eyes saw it as weakness. Woe to you, if I can borrow a phrase. Like, what he saw as weakness was actually a great deal of mercy and strength. And there's nothing that depicts that more than like that exact moment,
Well, I think we did it.
Yeah.
I think we completed our first segment. Don't worry, we're not coming back. That's it for the day.
That's it.
I'm Taylor Schroll.
I'm out of words.
State champion and owner of a child who doesn't need surgery. That's Allison Sullivan. Oh, we're not done, actually.
Why?
We're not done. We have to celebrate your big victory. We made the first segment all about me.
No.
We have to celebrate yours. I cannot believe.
Okay.
I cannot believe that there's on that TV right there.
Yeah.
There's this thing called HBO Max. It's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the biggest shows, Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Barry, some of the best shows in the world have come out on this platform, run by this platform. HBO Max, great. There's a show out right now called Love and Death, right?
Love and Death.
With
Elizabeth Olsen.
Like, I see her face every time I open the HBO, because we're watching Barry right now. I'm watching Succession right now.
Yeah.
And after I finish those shows,
Ted Lasso.
Well, that's on Apple. We're not talking about them right now.
Oh, okay.
Just on HBO Max.
Just on HBO Max.
Barry.
Okay. I did
not
know that.
Watching The Sopranos for the first time. We're finishing the last season of Barry, finishing the last season of Succession. Whenever I'm done with Succession and Barry, which end in a few weeks, I'm going to start watching this Love and Death show, which she might be my number one celebrity crush in the world right now.
I love that.
And
she's an excellent actress.
Sure. She is excellent.
I know you don't care about her craftsmanship.
But whenever I watch this show, I'm not only going to be seeing Elizabeth Olsen. Somewhere around episode 4 or 5.
I can't. Maybe heavy in 5 or 6, but maybe not.
But
I mean, things get cut all the time.
But there's a person on this podcast that's in this show.
And
it's not me because it didn't lead this show. You're on an HBO Max show with Elizabeth Olsen.
I love that you're so excited about it. It's actually not that big of a deal.
It's ridiculous that I could turn on my TV on HBO Max, which is known for the best television shows ever.
Yeah.
And their new headliner show, because they always do this whenever something's ending. Like Succession is their number one hit right now, and the Game of Thrones spinoff. Those are their two biggest ones right now. Barry's probably that second tier.
Yeah.
And Barry and Succession are ending. Mm-hmm. And they always do this. Their next big show, when one of their big shows is ending, they always start airing it around the same time.
Right.
And that's what they just did with this show that you are in.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So I am a courtroom reporter. So y'all can look in like the courtroom scenes. I might have a pad. I might have a microphone. I might be standing outside the courthouse. When she is exiting the courthouse, by the way, if we are outside the courthouse, know that we were freezing. Like, I don't even know how they must have done a lot in post because we were free. I don't know how they made us not look freezing. When the lawyer is running up the sidewalk, I have to get out of his way. So that you might see me then. But when they're ushering her into a car outside of the courthouse, that's a good opportunity. So I'm bombarding her with questions.
It's so ridiculous.
How do your kids feel?
Hell still hasn't set in for you that you're a TikTok star. It still hasn't set in for me that one of my co-hosts and best friends is on HBO Max with my celebrity crush. It doesn't make any sense. With your celebrity crush.
She is delightful, by the way.
Tell her I said hi.
Yeah, sure. By the way, we call her Lizzie. It's not Elizabeth, it's Lizzie. And so kind and such a professional. Like, really, really great actress.
I love her. I was so sad for her when Vision died, even though he's fake.
Yeah, well.
I was so sad for her that she lost her robot husband.
Yeah.
Okay, that was segment 2.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yay. Check it out.
I'll be back next week. She'll be back in a month. See ya. Thank you guys for watching and listening today. We really appreciate you, especially for everybody that's been super in our corner over the last couple of weeks with all the negative things that have been going on. Thank you for rejoicing with us on social media and in texts and phone calls and everything over the last few days. It's been absolutely incredible, and we love you guys. We thank you for your support. If you like today's show, please hit subscribe so that you don't miss next week's episode. I'll be back soon. Love you.